Spent almost 3 hours yesterday writing the script for this video and forgot to write an intro. Hello! Welcome back to my Sims 4 rotational save drama storytime gameplay. I don't know. I had the title down last week and now I don't remember what I said. I am here recapping everything that has happened in the last 3 weeks of gameplay on my Sims 4 rotational save. If you are new here or you don't know what a rotational save is, basically it's where rather than just staying within one household in the game, you spend a little bit of time in one and then jump to another and rotate around between all of them. And that's what we've been doing here. I have a rotational save set up in Oasis Springs. We've spent time with a lot of different Sims so far, and there has been a lot of very crazy drama. Last episode, all of the drama culminated with a polyamorous relationship and 2 surprise babies. There are truly no limits to the ridiculousness of what can happen in this game, and I am very, very excited to get stuck into these 3 weeks of rotational gameplay. So, due to popular demand, week 1 this time is with Zoe Patel. Zoe is a pre-made Sim who was originally part of the Roomies household, but in this save is currently living in an apartment with Gavin Richards. Zoe is clumsy, cheerful, active, and a goofball, and has the friend of the world aspiration, which basically means that she just wants to be friends with as many people as possible. She's working in the education career at the moment, but despite earning her degree in psychology, she's still actually really low down in the career track, meaning her and Gavin's apartment is pretty sparsely furnished at the moment. In her main friend circle, she's got Babs, Jay, Paige, Judd, and Raylan. That's right, we are still adding newbies to the relationship chart. I am starting to run out of places for these guys to live. It's sort of getting out of hand. Zoe is also actively beefing with 2 different people. Aria, who was introduced to the chart last week as a friend of Jay's, and Peyton, who is the daughter of Ren, who is one of Dusty's friend. Are you confused yet? I'm confused, and I'm the one who makes these charts. Anyway, the thing I find really funny is that Peyton is fully a teenager. Zoe, for all intents and purposes a lovely person, is out here actively disliking a teenager. I like the idea that maybe Peyton attends the school that Zoe teaches at because she's in the education career, so like maybe they met there and just started beefing with each other. I think that makes more sense than Zoe having somehow just met this teen out in the wild and deciding that she really does not vibe with her. Anyway, her relationship with Gavin is interesting. They were both in the original Roomies household and were like pretty decent friends, but they're also both attracted to each other, but neither of them have done anything or said anything. Perhaps in an attempt to not disturb the roommate dynamic. We saw how that ended up for Jay and Mitchell. And then finally, last time we saw Zoe, she was caught in 4K having a bit of a moment with Johnny Zest. But when I jumped into Zoe's household, the 2 of them didn't have anything in the relationship bars. I thought this was the perfect opportunity for the 2 of them to go on a little date to get to know each other, but we're not quite there yet. Zoe's life is a bit of a mess at the moment. I mean, it's kind of fair. She's going through that like post-breakup crash out. She cut her hair and dyed it pink. Listen, we've all been there. She's been feeling very unbalanced and has 3 whole fears. A fear of unfulfilled dreams, a fear of a dead-end job, and a fear of fire. Oh boy. In the spirit of this episode being #justice for Zoe, I made a to-do list. Number 1 is to make some progress on her lifetime aspiration, which means going out and meeting new people and making new friends. And that'll take care of fear number 1 of the fear of unfulfilled dreams. Second thing on the to-do list is to get a new job. Love the education career for her, but clearly she's not vibing with it, so we gotta find something new for her to do. And then that will beat the fear of a dead-end job. Number 3 on the to-do list is to get a boyfriend. Go on a date with Johnny ASAP. Get on the rebound after that disaster of a relationship with Dusty. Number 4 is to decorate the apartment super cutely. Zoe is far too much of a cutie patootie to be in a super boring apartment. And decorations require money, which then ties in with getting a new job, etc, etc. And finally, last thing on the to-do list is just to get her life together a bit more. Bring some balance back into mind and body, because she's never going to make any meaningful progress on those goals if she's still a mess on the inside, you know? So the first thing we did was send her to a yoga yoga club meetup, where she discovered that she actually really likes wellness as a skill. So that includes yoga and meditation and all that sort of good stuff. So that's definitely a start. Later that day, she reached the next milestone of her lifetime aspiration, which required her to meet like 10 new people. I was a bit worried about this because looking in her friends panel, she was already acquaintances with so many people, and I was like, oh, is she even going to be able to meet anyone new without me bringing in even more random townies that I haven't done anything to? But thankfully, she didn't know literally everyone in town, so she was still able to meet a few more people and hit the next milestone. And this is like a crazy amount of progress already. This is the first day that I was in her household. On Monday, she quit her job, which got rid of the fear of a dead-end job, because how can you be scared of being in a dead-end job when you're not in any job? With her degree in psychology, she had a few different careers open to her. Detective, lifestyle coach, covert operator in the military, secret agent, specifically a diamond agent, whatever that means, funeral director, professor, though that was in the education track, which she literally just left, and then finally, romance consultant. I loved the idea of her going into the romance consultant job, because the idea of her giving other people relationship advice whilst her own love life has been like such a disaster is really amusing to me. So obviously we're doing that one. To progress in this career, she needs to read a romance novel. Easy peasy. Reach level 5 of the romance skill. That's maybe a little bit harder. And she needs to woohoo someone. Bit weird that that's a job requirement, but you know, we'll go with that. Now it's time for her date with Johnny Zest, the long-awaited date. So many comments were left, excited to see what would happen between these two Sims. These two Sims who had seemingly failed in love before. Would this be their chance to get a happy ending together? No. Zoe kept autonomously doing mischief interactions, and Johnny got fed up and left the date. Zoe, you were literally sabotaging yourself. Zoe, get it together. Okay, anyway, back to the drawing board. I sent her to a romance skill class, which I found really amusing as a concept. Also in the hopes that it would dissuade her of the notion that continually pranking your romantic interest is a good way to start a first date. Or perhaps she just needs to find someone who not only puts up with her pranking, but pranks her back. A partner in love and a partner in crime. Aw, that's cute. I'm gonna go with that. The next day, she was at the gym and she met the man, the myth, the legend, Don Lothario, an iconic sim, if ever there was one, historically entangled with the Calientes and the Goths, though they're not featured in our adventures, a breaker of hearts and a giver of babies for so many throughout the year. Zoe meets him at the gym, and despite the two of them immediately having terrible compatibility with each other, they are flirting like hardcore, and they end up exchanging numbers. I mean, like, if you're gonna rebound, you may as well rebound with Don Lothario. After her first day of work as a romance consultant, which went super well by the way, she goes on an official date with Don, and it went really well. She was enjoying herself so much that she literally developed the romantic trait. They were having such deep chats that he helped her get over her fear of unfulfilled dreams. And then the chef in the restaurant died. Okay, whatever. Don't ruin the moment, dude. Oh my god, and then, because despite this being the #Justice for Zoe show, Zoe somehow manages to get overshadowed. Gavin gets a phone call. I don't know how to justify this being Gavin. Perhaps nobody else was picking up the phone. But Gavin gets a phone call from Paige. We all know Paige. She's our OG sim. She's been in every episode so far, and clearly she was not happy with being sidelined for this one, because she has called Gavin to say that she has found an engagement ring in Dina's bag, and she thinks Dina is gonna propose. And she called Gavin to ask if she should say yes? The two of them aren't even good enough friends for them to be included on the friendship chart together. What do you mean she called Gavin? Oh. Anyway, Gavin obviously says that Paige should say yes. So now Paige and Dina are engaged. Anyway, Zoe's decided she wants to have a baby. You go on one date with Don Lothario, and apparently this is what happens. We also see a little bit more character development as her clumsy trait gets swapped for the perfectionist trait. Hell yeah! At the end of the week, we obviously had to have a night out at the club. Don comes home with her afterwards, and Zoe gets one step closer to getting a promotion, I guess. But then Don goes and sleeps in Gavin's bed instead of with Zoe in Zoe's bed, and then he leaves before Zoe wakes up. What the hell? And Zoe is not having any of that. She is a romance consultant now, and she is not gonna let herself be ghosted by this man. So she goes to Don's house, just marches on up there and knocks on the door and asks him to be her boyfriend. Officially. They've been on one date. Whatever, this is Sims. Paige and Dina moved in together after a single day. But Don says yes, and he actually seems like really happy about it, which is sweet and also kind of unexpected for it being Don fucking Lothario. And because this is the end of the week, we've now got a few $1,000s to decorate the apartment with. How good! The decorations are very Zoe core, since she was the one earning most of the money in the first place. And with that, I think we can safely say that Zoe has successfully completed everything on the to-do list. She hit the next milestone of her lifetime aspiration. She got a new job as a romance consultant. She started dating Don Lothario, of all bloody people. She decorated the apartment super cutely, and I would say she's living a more balanced life. But also, right as I was getting ready to leave their household for the week, Zoe and Gavin started beefing. I don't know if he was just like real mad about all of the decorations or if he was like weirdly salty about Dawn for some reason, but like, yeah, weird note to end on there. But none of that matters, because Paige and Dina are engaged, and we need to deal with that right now. So, week 2. Paige and Dina. There isn't really too much to update on the relationship front. Paige, as we know, is friends with Zoe, Dusty, Nina, and Edgar. She doesn't get on with Jay or Johnny or Katrina, which is a bit awkward because Katrina is Dina's mum. She's exes with Mitchell and currently now officially engaged to Dina. The biggest development that we have here is that Paige is now friends with Babs, who she used to not like, so this is super exciting. Oh, and she's like fully enemies with some guy called Zayden. We'll add him to the chart, I guess. Dina is friends with Craig, Parker, Beckham, Don, and Dusty. Sister of Nina, daughter of Katrina, and fiance of Paige. Dina developed the cheerful trait. Literally before I even hit record, I like loaded up into the household and suddenly she's cheerful. Okay, cool. This is gonna be a very wholesome week. I hope you're ready for that. Okay. Now we're all caught up. It's time for an engagement dinner at Katrina's house. I only saw this very briefly in the background of the party. Zoe flirted with Paige, and then Dawn got really sad about it. We've been away from them for one day and there's already trouble in paradise? Maybe Zoe was just mad that her first actual week in the rotation got overshadowed by Paige and Dina, and so now she's trying to stir the pot. Another exciting development at this party is that Paige and Jay, who we've just established she doesn't like, but is a very good friend of Dina's, so there's been this sort of like weird begrudging relationship between the two of them. Anyway, the two of them are now officially friendly. Not friends. There wasn't enough for me to put a green line between them on the chart, but I can at least take away the red one now. Okay. Now it's time for the wedding. Hold on, I need coffee first. Oh my god, I love weddings. I think they're so special and magical, and I get so excited every time I get to do one for my Sims, and this was no exception. Dusty and Nina were Dina and Paige's respective Sims of honor, which was super cute. And then the two of them walked down the aisle together, and oh my god, it was so cute. I was very emotional about it. Especially because I had just downloaded a whole bunch of new custom content, and so I got to put the two of them in these gorgeous wedding dresses that were from the same set, so they were kind of matching, but then like in a style that suited them both individually, and oh, I'm having a lot of feelings about it. Anyway, the next day it started snowing in Oasis Springs. I didn't even think that was possible, but okay, whatever, climate change? I guess. The ladies had their honeymoon in Salvadorada, which is one of my favorite places in the whole game. One of my favorite households I've ever played actually had one of the Sims die of poisoning there, which doesn't sound like it should be a memory that I look back on fondly, but it was part of a whole storyline that I was really, really invested in, and that's still my favorite save that I have played to this day. With that being said, I was predictably rather stressed when Dina managed to get poisoned almost immediately after arriving. Thankfully, she got over it overnight, but then the next day she managed to get poisoned again. Dina, come on, man, work with me! Paige got to view some artworks in a museum, which helped towards her aspiration. They did lots of adventuring in the jungle, which I wouldn't have thought that Dina would be into necessarily, but I mean, she was the one committing so hard that she kept getting poisoned about it. They went to a bar and found a cat who Dina was immediately obsessed with, and then they were back home. It was a quick trip, as the two of them didn't really have a lot of money after the wedding, and they both needed to get back to work, and that's all I have for Paige and Dina. I say all that as if they didn't literally get married, but like there wasn't a lot of drama. It was just sort of a pleasant interlude. And now we move on to week 3. For week 3, I went with Nina Caliente. Channel members were able to vote for who they wanted to see next, and the vote was tied between Mitchell and Nina, and I was feeling in more of a Nina mood, so we went with her. Nina Caliente, sister of Dina, daughter of Katrina, is romantic, hot-headed, and athletic. She has the serial romantic lifetime aspiration, meaning basically she just wants to date lots of different people. She currently works in the athletic career and lives in the massive Caliente house with Katrina. She's part of the Gym Bros Club and is generally just sort of vibing in life. Nina's friends are Paige, Brendan, Corinne, and Gavin. At the beginning of this week, Nina had no romantic entanglements, which was highly out of character for her, and I vowed to rectify that immediately. My plan was for her to just basically flirt with everyone and see what happens, but literally everyone she flirted with was turning her down. I'm not kidding, I had her flirt with a lot of people, and they all said no thank you. Gavin got so offended by her flirting with him that he straight up stopped being friends with her. Dude, guess we're taking that friendship off the chart. Jeez. But Nina is nothing if not persistent. And by Nina, I mean me. And by persistent, I mean stubborn. So she kept flirting, and finally, she met someone who flirted back. We may just have a winner here. His name is Rex. This is the first time we've seen him, so he's getting added to the chart. He's a bit older, but Nina meets him and immediately gets a crush on him, so we're going with it. The next day, she goes out to the club, and Rex is in there before she even walks in. They flirt, they dance, and then he leaves. He just walks out, leaving Nina all on her lonesome. So she's pissed off and a little bit drunk. Everyone keeps rejecting her, and she's like objectively stunning, so like what is even going on? So instead of dealing with her frustrations in a normal and healthy way, Nina does something stupid, very stupid, unbelievably stupid, in fact. She hooks up with Mitchell. Boo! That's a bad decision! Mitchell, if you need a recap, was also originally part of the Roomies household, along with Zoe and Gavin, and along with Jay Huntington III. Mitchell began dating Paige. Soon after he started dating Paige, he realized he also had feelings for his BFF, Jay. So Mitchell started seeing Jay on the side whilst he was dating Paige. Jay knew about Paige. Paige did not know about Jay. Jay then got Babs pregnant, and Mitchell was real judgy about it. So Jay dumped Mitchell. Mitchell then moved in with Paige and was so grumpy that his side piece dumped him that Paige eventually dumped him too. And also he wants to be a comedian. Someone in the comments said that that's why he's been making so many bad decisions, and I haven't been able to stop laughing about that since. So really, there are no limits as to how much of a bad idea it was for Nina to hook up with Mitchell. Nina, who is best friends with Paige. Oh my god. The next day, Mitchell wants to come over, and Nina is like, oh, fine, and she thinks that this will be her chance to make it very clear that that can never happen again. But the problem is, Nina and Mitchell have like the highest possible level of compatibility, and they're both really attracted to each other. So when Mitchell shows up and immediately asks Nina to be his girlfriend, somehow she ends up saying yes. I say somehow as if I am not the one who clicked the button that said yes. Somehow this happened, I don't know. But I reckon the two of them agree to keep it quiet, because Nina feels awful about dating the guy who cheated on her best friend, which she should feel bad about. Paige even calls Nina to hang out later that day, and Nina blows her off because she can't handle the guilt. And then the most amusing thing to happen in this entire series unfolds. Jay, Mr. Huntington III himself, shows up at the house to see Katrina, because I'm also technically controlling Katrina this week, even if I'm just sort of leaving her to her own devices the whole time. Jay shows up wanting to canoodle. He said the word canoodle. Who is this man? Anyway, Katrina says yes, because I think she secretly really likes Jay, even though she wouldn't be able to handle being part of his polyamorous thing he's got going on. Watch the last episode if you want to see more about that. Like, she wants him all for herself and knows that he doesn't want that, so really she should stay away from him, but she just can't say no to him. She likes him too much. Oh, it's also dramatic. So Jay's there canoodling, and Nina, unbeknownst to all the canoodling, has invited Mitchell over to do some canoodling of her own. I need to stop saying canoodling, but it's really funny. Anyway, so Jay and Mitchell are now both in the house, not realizing that the other is there. They're busy canoodling, not realizing that their respective exes are also in the house, canoodling. And then, continuing the theme of Paige and Dina upstaging the narrative when they're not the center of attention, Dina calls Katrina, and Dina tells Katrina that her and Paige have been thinking about having a baby. A baby! So obviously, Katrina tells her to go for it, but turns out Dina isn't the only Caliente who's gonna be having a baby, because Nina is also pregnant. And so is Katrina. So all of this canoodling has resulted in babies across the board. All 3 Caliente ladies are now pregnant. And I just... How did we get here? How did we go from hashtag justice for Zoe to this? I mean, like, I'm the one controlling these Sims. I shouldn't be asking these questions, but like, oh boy. The next day is Harvest Fest, so we're having a big old family dinner. I thought this would be a disaster, especially with the whole Nina, Mitchell, Jay, Paige situation, but everyone was getting on surprisingly well. And then I saw Jay go outside to where Mitchell was, and the two of them flirted, and then immediately started arguing. Nina came outside and Jay immediately walked away. Do with that information what you will. Nina asked Mitchell what was going on. She actually expressed suspicion about their closeness, which is an interaction from the relationship pregnancy overhaul mod linked in the description. This seemed to cause a bit of an argument between the two of them, but no actual relationship points, if you will, were lost. Mitchell reassured Nina that him and Jay were just friends, which is blatantly false. Not because they're anything more, but because they actively dislike each other. But whatever. Oh, I didn't mention, Mitchell is like overjoyed about the baby. He's ready to go full dad mode. The most questionable sim in this whole series. Ecstatic about becoming a father. Sure. Katrina is also having a great time. She's family oriented, that's like one of her traits. So she's just over the moon about how big her family is about to get, with 2 grandbabies and a baby of her own. Oh my god, I've been yapping so much I've neglected my coffee and now it's gone cold. The 3 Caliente ladies had a really cute little family dinner, and honestly, I'm just really obsessed with them. It was so cute. Mitchell moves into the Caliente house, and Dina's old room gets converted into a nursery. Mitchell and Nina develop the wholesome relationship dynamic. I kinda love that for them. I'm still undecided on how I feel about the 2 of them. On one hand, what the actual fuck, but also like they genuinely seem really happy with each other and seem to like suit each other quite well. It's wild. Anyway, it's baby time. Nina is the first to have her baby. It's a girl called Zara. She's very cute and very green, continuing the alien genealogy into the next generation. Then no, I need to calm down. Then Katrina has twins! Twins! And obviously we have to keep up the naming convention. So the twins are called Lena and Tina. And then I jumped back into Paige and Dina's household for Dina's baby. And I cannot express how much I am not kidding. Dina had triplets. Just having all 3 of them pregnant at one time was enough drama to border on frankly a bit too ridiculous. But triplets? After Katrina just had twins? I don't even know where to put all of this in my brain. And somehow they're all girls as well. So Esme, Elodie, and Evangeline. And also they are also all green. And that is the end of our 3 weeks in this rotational save file. Oh my god. Thank you so much for watching this utterly ridiculous series of events. I had so much fun playing it, and I am so excited to jump back into this save file. Let me know in the comments which household or specific sim you want to see next. And if you want to be part of the final vote on who gets played, consider becoming a channel member. All of the channel members get the opportunity to vote. As mentioned, the vote this time was tied between Nina and Mitchell, and you know what? At the end, we did get to see lots of both of them. Channel members also get to see some sneak peeks live as I'm playing, like this screenshot of Dina and Paige's wedding. And it's also the best way to support me and the channel so that I can keep making videos like this. If you enjoyed the chaos of this episode, you might enjoy this other video I did, linking literally every single Taylor Swift song to the Baldur's Gate 3 companions. I've had confirmation that this is still a fun watch if you know nothing about Taylor Swift or Baldur's Gate 3, so give it a watch if you're keen on some unhinged energy and very passionate ravings. For everyone who enjoys my World of Warcraft content, I've been having so much fun playing Legion Remix, and you can watch me play through that in this little playlist, but I also have the Terakar Forest deep dive video coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. What else have I got? Oh, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you want to see bonus clips of these sims that didn't make it into the full episode, and follow me on Blue Sky and Tumblr if you want more random screenshots and thoughts about the games that I'm playing. Okay, yeah, that's everything. Bye!